another installment of Zions of Football, Fantasy Football League, Fantasy Football Podcast. This week brought to you by Sleeper. Sleeper, the only fantasy football app made for fans by fans. This is the show where we take a look into the details and goings-on in this league because we all know our commissioner won't. I'm here with my co-host as usual, Mr. RJ Wagner. RJ, how you doing?
Ted, 5 straight weeks, 5 straight wins. I feel fantastic. One thing I want to say, though, Kevin texted me yesterday and was telling me how he asked Kyle how his points against stacked up in past years since he has the highest in the league right now. And I think Kevin, I'm actually not sure. I think he's sitting around like 117 per game, his opponents. If you want to do the quick math for me, that'd be great. And then Kyle reminded him of last year when my opponents averaged for a full season 128 points per game against me. Averaged 128. I had it so rough last year. There were so many games that I felt like I should have won but didn't, which stings a lot. But this is the first win in a long time that I won a game, and I can 100% say I feel like I did not deserve to win the game. With Trevor's stat of me being it was a lucky win, or I think that's his word choice. Not only that, like maybe if I scored 120, that'd still be a lucky win, but I felt like I might deserve it. I mean, I didn't deserve it. You know, I'm definitely happy that I did. I'm now 5-2, 1 win away from clinching the playoffs, as we say. Kyle having Jaden Daniels get hurt, Jameson Williams doing whatever crack cocaine or horse tranquilizer in the back. Still only won by 10. It didn't feel right, but don't get me wrong. I'm still pumped. 5 straight wins. Feeling good.
I'm glad you're feeling good. 5 wins is a tough hump to get over, let me tell you. And speaking of 5-win teams, we've got our special guest today, Mr. Beaver Muncher, our commissioner, Trevor. Whoa!
It is just
double fisting Corona. It's 12:45. Trevor's got practice at 3:30.
What's up, fellas? I'm excited today because I have found my beach sitting at 5-2. Welcome.
The 5-2 crew.
5-2 club right here.
Yeah. I hear Jack, Monty, and Chase are having their own podcast. The
2-5 club over there.
The 2-5 club. That's rough.
It is not involving much Corona, I'll tell you that.
Methamphetamine.
And a lot of
some of Jameson Williams stock.
Straight pulls of vodka.
Well, you know, what?
We'll get into it.
You know, why don't we get into it? RJ, you started to get into it. Let's get into the Week 7 recap. We're here for fantasy football. Let's talk fantasy football. You beat Kyle 108-98. Kyle went from first place last week to worst in points this week. Tough week. Jaden Daniels 5, Zay Flowers 4, Jameson Williams barely getting above 0. Really let Kyle down. RJ, you had Joe Mixon, Kenneth Walker, Joe Burrow really carrying the load, getting you like 70 points, just those 3. Chris Godwin died for the win, but your team is looking pretty good. I think you're talking about you're a little upset, but if your team can show out, I don't think you should worry about not deserving it because you obviously deserved it because you won.
Yeah, Ted, you're right. I mean, I learned from the best. You know, you sold your soul to the fantasy football gods. And I've talked to them, and they're giving me the gift that they gave you. So now that's why you've lost 2 in a row. So I'm getting that back. My fantasy defense is great. Running backs, like you said, 47.7 points combined between the 2. Will Reichard, my kicker, coming in just an hour before game time, not being able to work out a trade, getting me 13 was nice. Was definitely nervous going into Monday night. Wasn't sure. I really don't know if the win was worth it after losing another one of my top players. That now means I've had one player, I'm pretty sure, that I have played that hasn't gotten hurt. Well, Joe Burrow, I guess, skill position, and that's David Montgomery, who did get hurt in the last game, but came back after losing Njoku and every single one of my receivers, and all my running backs have missed time. Kyle, though, huge outing from Jamar. That just shows the potential when David Montgomery, like even a little injury, what he could do. Jaden Daniels getting hurt. Jameson, like I said, too busy with the horse tranquilizer in the back. But Brock Bowers, like I mentioned last podcast, he's no doubt tight end one. While I won this week, I much prefer to not play Kyle in the playoffs. I am scared of his team. I think he has a great team. And then also Joe Burrow, quarterback 2 since week 2. Just saying. So that's another bright spot for me.
Trev, how'd you feel about this matchup?
Yeah, tough for Kyle losing Jaden Daniels. I know that happened early in the game with that rib injury, but I feel like that ultimately cost him the win, because if he had gotten anywhere near what he's been averaging, I think that would have been enough to get the W. So especially tough after just trading for him. Could have picked up another win there, but solid performance, I thought, from you, RJ. Even though you weren't super high in the scoring, like you said, you had that unexpected loss is what I've been calling it. But hey, like we've been saying, a win is a win. Those are just for fun little facts. Those weekly breakdowns that go out. That don't mean nothing. Ain't that right, Ted? But tough losing Godwin, especially on the same week that Deontay Johnson and Devontae Smith didn't look too good, putting up small numbers there. But should have some people potentially returning from injury. We'll see. So that's a bright spot to replace him. But, yeah, last thing Godwin did before snapping that ankle was get you another win, 5 in a row. So he'll take it.
Also, me and Kyle are tied exactly in the breakdown at 24 and 25. But don't forget, that's after me starting back-to-back 0-7s. So I've gone on a 24 and 11 run in the breakdown since week 3.
Wow, that's impressive. Crazy to think that starting 0-2, here you are 1 win away from clinching the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Going on a little hot streak here.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of a hot streak, Trev, you are still on a hot streak. You're 5-2. You're taking my cold streak. You're taking advantage of that. Lamar came up huge for you, but you barely even needed it. He got you 44. You won by 32. Justin Jefferson with 18. Broncos D with 20. I'll say it, Trevor, you're legit. Like, people like to clown on you for the Zamir White. I think you're I could see you at 12 wins at the end of the season, no problem. And then for me, really just the 2018 All-Stars, Kamara, Tyreek, Kelsey, really letting me down. They got 11 points combined. Not too much I can do with that. I'm at least glad Derrick Henry got me over 100 points. I went 1-6 in the breakdown. I feel like there's not too much to say besides I was just I didn't check the score at all because I knew wasn't looking good. But RJ, do you have anything to say before Trevor goes on a gloating spree?
Yeah, huge win specifically for the tiebreaker over Ted, because now all of us at 5-2. Ted, I lost to you, so we're all 1-1 against us as a group. And Trevor, you by far scored the most points than us. And I believe I talked about it last week, but Trevor is by far, while I didn't like the draft, to be completely honest. And I don't even think you liked it.
No.
But by far the most consistent team in the breakdown. And I don't think we've ever seen this type of run. Let me go through each week real quick. Week 1, 6-1. Week 2, 6-1. Week 3, 5-2. Week 4, 0-7. I think that's when he played me. Week 5, 6-1. Week 6, 5-2. Week 7, 6-1. That is insane numbers. Constantly the top of scoring. It's really not talked about enough. But okay, the matchup. Lamar, another 5 touchdown performance. Could definitely use more output from running backs, though. Justin Jefferson proving it really doesn't matter what QB, if he's healthy, consistent as hell. Worst outing from Jaden Reed. And I remember pointing out, I don't know if it was last week or 2 weeks ago, how efficient he is, even though he has a lack of target share. The lack of target share possesses. It's interesting to see if that continues or if he's able to bounce back from that. The efficiency reminds me a little of Achane last year, if you remember how nuclear he would go.
Nuclear!
Such little workload with Raheem Mostert getting most of the bulk of the carry. And then even without Brandon Aubrey, great production from your kicker and defense, getting 33 points, really proving that you have a knack for picking those positions. And now, Ted, you really let Kevin guilt you into starting Chuba Hubbard.
A little bit, yeah. That was the last thing.
He was telling you, oh, Ted, Chuba Hubbard, start him. And that was the wrong choice. You should have gone with Josh Jacobs.
Should have, yep.
Your bench overall actually did pretty good.
That's the one heartening thing. I made some very poor decisions, but my bench wasn't looking too bad. Najee was getting points. George Pickens, the Steelers look like they have some life.
Yeah.
So maybe I played the long game.
Tyreek needs Tua. Alvin might need Derek Carr, which is weird to say. Kelsey's doesn't really look like Kelsey, but Derrick Henry's still Derrick Henry. After back-to-back losses, you have to wonder if you start looking into the trade market to shake some things up. I don't know. Maybe we need to be in some discussions. If you want Chris Godwin, I can get you him.
I think, was it last week I said Tyreek for Chris Godwin or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, you guys hit a lot on what I was going to talk about, but obviously very excited to get the win. Something I just thought of with Teddy on the 2-game slide, RJ on the 5-game win streak. I don't think you guys have ever both won or both lost in the same week. Every week it's been 1 wins and 1 loses. So that's pretty interesting.
Wait. That's just
no.
I'll cut it out.
Yeah, cut that. Cut that. I don't know why.
Because when I went 5-0, RJ went 0-2 during those 5 weeks.
Right. Okay. So what I'm thinking,
I think majority of the weeks.
Make sure to cut that out. We'll cut it. What I was thinking was that the win streaks, they've been opposite, but obviously a big win for me. I'm excited to be on a little 3-game win streak here. Ted, tough for you to be on the 2-game slide. Like we talked about, Lamar is being Lamarvelous right now. So kind of upsetting that he went that crazy in a game where I didn't really need it in Monday night. But it's great to see him performing. I'm kind of being carried right now, I feel like, by Lamar, Justin Jefferson, and my kicker and defense. So I feel like RJ, you were saying, my running back production isn't great right now, and then the flex is a little iffy. So, but as long as they can, those 4 with Lamar, Justin Jefferson, and then my kicker and defense, as long as they can keep producing, I feel like I've been putting up like a consistent 120, 130 points, and that's enough to do it, I guess. So hopefully that continues. What's the breakdown? Who's in second in the breakdown?
Evan, I believe.
So Trevor, you're an insane 34-15 in the breakdown.
What's Kevin in second?
29-20, and then me and Kyle are 24-25.
And I'm 19-30.
Are you actually?
Yes.
That's insane. But yeah, outside of Lamar, Justin Jefferson, and my kicker and defense, I don't think anybody had more than 10 points. So, but it all came down to that Thursday night game, Ted. I mean, it
It really
was
did.
like my defense scored 20 on Thursday night, and Kamara had 15-point difference there. Like you would expect pretty much any other week, Kamara would have 15 more than the defense. So that was a huge start for me. Derrick Henry for you is still looking incredible, but Tyreek Hill, we'll see with Tua maybe coming back from the veggie state. We'll see if that can get you a boost there. But then, but yeah, I was going to hit on that too. I even texted you about it, how you let Kevin get in your head with the Chuba over Josh Jacobs. But I don't think that ended up mattering based on the final score.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, real excited to get the win. It was a big weekend for me. The Hoosiers win, the Vols win, the Yankees to the World Series, the Colts win. I win in fantasy. Only thing not going well for me right now is my golf game, which I just got off the golf course, and it did not go too well. I start the 10th hole. A group let me pass, and they were standing there to the side as they were watching me drive, and I hit it directly at them. It was whizzed by someone's head, little shank off to the left, and I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna drive past this hole and get out of here, guys. Pretty embarrassing, but if that's the only thing going bad in my life right now, then pretty good. I'll take it.
So. Well, we're going on our next matchup. Talk about things going bad in their life. Mr. 0-2 since being wed. We had Chase beat Jack 130-104. Chase heard us talking smack. Mark Andrews, he picked up. Baker, he picked up. Aaron Jones, Kyron Williams with 20. Jack didn't hear us talking at all. Debo with a dud. Was Chase involved in that decision? I don't know. Ramondre with 3.5. I thought that one was pretty bold considering the Patriots coach came out saying we're not going to give him that many carries. Bijan kept him afloat with 20, but otherwise, and I would like to point out a fun stat. Chase heard us talking smack. 53% of his points are by acquisition. So he's been really playing that manager card. He took that long Thursday night week. He went to work. 53% coming from non-drafted players. That's pretty good.
Yeah, Ted, a honeymoon game weekend for Jack really turned into a nightmare. You are starting to wonder now when those divorce papers are coming. It has to be soon. I would say if he loses this week, it's either this weekend or the next. It's sad. It's sad to see it end so quick, but changes need to be made. Chase with only 2 wins, but arguably the 2 most important people to beat. The other 2 teams with 2 wins. So he is the tiebreaker over both those, which means in the back half of the season, he just needs to beat one of them. That's if it's a 3-way tie at the end with those 3, he just needs to beat one more, and he's all good. He's in the clear of the come, which is crazy because we thought he was all but wearing our baby gravy already. And now he's already out of the come game. That's pretty crazy. For a team that came into the season so wide receiver heavy, CD, Devontae, Diggs, Ayuk, his running backs have been fantastic. Aaron Jones got the full workhorse workload. Kyron scores at least a touchdown every single game. Now QB position might be something he needs to look out for now with Mike Evans' hamstring and Chris Godwin unfortunately passing away on Monday night. But one thing he doesn't have to worry about is tight end because he has pretty much tight end 1 right now in Mark Andrews. He picked up why anyone would drop such a beast of a tight end.
For his well-being.
But they did. And scores 2 touchdowns for Jack. Bijan good. Ramondre, 50% of they literally said that it was a split backfield. Debo hospitalized with ovarian cancer. Prayers up to him. Like I said, Mike Evans hammy. He also has Tucker Kraft, though. Tucker Kraft, he's a top tight end now, too. But Cooper Kupp being back should come up huge with him and JT, but he needs more wins and needs those wins now.
Yep. Huge win for Chase. He wins the must win. Jack loses the can't lose. Not great for him. But fucking Mark Andrews, man. I mean, that guy literally deserves, I said it in our group message, he deserves to send me a thank you letter or something.
Yeah.
Because I talked about how last year I trade for him. He breaks his fucking fibula. This year I draft him early, I don't know, tight end 3, and he does terrible. Back-to-back weeks of 0. Looks like he's not even involved in the offense anymore. I dropped him and literally said, like, this is for his well-being. Like, he does not perform well or he breaks something when I have him on my team. So I'm going to drop him out of the good of my heart for Mark Andrews, his career. And he has been going off. I mean, I even said someone should pick him up because he's probably going to do well when I draft him. And now Chase has him and he looks incredible. So he'll probably be the Mark Andrews of old from now on. But Debo, I want to talk about Debo. So Chase, I didn't even think of this at the time when I was getting mad at Chase because I put a big bet on Debo to score a touchdown. Chase could have warned us that he had a little stomach bug, a little ovarian cancer, whatever you may call it. But I realized just today that Chase was playing against Debo on Jack's team. So maybe that's why he didn't say anything. Maybe Chase heard that I had a bet on Jack in the sports book and didn't want to tell me because he didn't want me to then tell Jack, hoping that Jack would win and I win my bet. So I guess I can sort of forgive Chase, but we talked about Jack having a bad honeymoon. I was literally texting Jack about Debo because we were obviously both pissed off. And he texted me, Chase screwed me with Debo. And then I responded talking about my bet and how pissed off I was. Jack responded, ruined my whole honeymoon. That is indeed true that his honeymoon was ruined from Debo Samuel. So thanks a lot, Chase. You lost me a lot of money and you ruined Jack's honeymoon, all to get yourself a win. So pretty fucked up you did there. But a great call from Chase to start Baker over C.J. Stroud. That also, just like Kyle lost his matchup with his quarterback, that won Chase his matchup. I was looking, I think Chase would have lost if he had started C.J. Stroud over Baker. So good call there, but big win for Chase. I mean,
I wonder who told him to make that decision. Someone might have been asked, should I go C.J. Stroud or Baker, and said, maybe you should go Baker.
Wow.
I don't know who, but someone did that. But sorry to interrupt you, Trevor. Yeah. Jack texted me randomly at 6:30 p.m. on Sunday, 6:30 Florida time. Don't know what it was there, and sent me this picture. And he said, Chase is dead to me. That's all that he said. So his honeymoon was it was the worst. It was a nightmare, all because of Chase.
It was because of Chase and Debo. But yeah, big win for Chase. All of a sudden, when his team was looking terrible and he was starting inactive players, he's now halfway through the season. He's not even in the come game. So big win for him. We'll see how it turns out for the second half of the season here.
Looking good. And talking about people who maybe haven't won when they needed to, we got Kevin beating Monty 137-128. Really a heartbreaker for Monty. He scored, I think, what most other weeks he would have been in the top 3 scoring, but just wasn't enough to overcome Kevin. Kevin had Josh Allen with 25, Saquon with 25, Amon-Ra with 21. Really lifted him over. Monty, even though, looking at his team, this looks like a winning team. Brian Thomas Jr. with 20, Breece Hall with 23, Jordan Love 23. Looks like that should have been enough, but it just wasn't. Tough week for Monty. RJ, what do you think about his matchup?
Yeah, tough loss for the bank for sure. Definitely stings scoring 120 and getting a loss. Really solid performance though overall. Worst thing was you definitely expect more out of Malik Neighbors with that target share. With that target share, he was getting pre-concussion. Expect things to be fine, but something to look out for. Laporta is absolutely terrible. Brian Thomas Jr. has been great. I wasn't a fan of him going into the draft fantasy-wise, to be honest. He's proven me wrong. For Kev, Tony Pollard got hurt, something to keep an eye on. Xavier Worthy didn't do much, and it'll be interesting to see with DeAndre Hopkins now in Kansas City what his work will look like. But he also has Jalen Waddle coming back, or Tua coming back for Waddle to fill that flex spot. Great performance from both teams, honestly. But for Kev, what has to feel really good is Saquon in that revenge game, and then Amon-Ra really getting that target share in Detroit that he had in past last year.
Talking target share, baby. Let's pull up some target share stats. No, I don't have that. I'm just too busy going forward too much today. But no, Kevin, big production from Josh Allen, Barkley, Drake London, and Amon-Ra. It kind of reminds me of my team, where he kind of relies on the big production from those guys, and they're putting up points, where I feel like it's a little dicey outside of that. But we'll see what Pacheco can do, maybe, if he comes back. But Kareem Hunt's been looking incredible, so that could take out some carries from Pacheco, because Kareem Hunt's been going crazy. He might dig into his carries a little bit. But I feel like Monty overall had a great week, just unfortunate to play a high-scoring team in Kevin. But, Sam Laporta, I don't know what's happened, man, because he's just getting low targets, no production. But a good pickup by Monty this week in David Njoku. I saw he had crazy amount of targets and a good amount of points scored, so we'll see if he makes that change there, or now with Deshaun Watson out, if Jameis or whoever's playing in Cleveland is going to be getting Njoku the ball. But, Monty and his rookie receivers. I know he didn't start Maserati, but Maserati seems like he can go nuclear or have the worst week ever. So that's a tough start for choosing whether or not he wants to start him. But outside of that, hopefully he gets that production out of Neighbors and keeps it going with Brian Thomas. So tough loss for the Bink, but I still like the Bink's team. I think he'll bounce back here.
Ted, real quick, I have a couple of those random fun facts to throw out there, just real quick.
Well, that's the end of the recap, so feel free. We're in RJ's target share corner.
Perfect. Brian Thomas Jr., the first player with 500-plus yards on 30 or fewer receptions through 7 games since Randy Moss in 1998. Just saying. Weird stat here for Bijan. This is just really weird on his rushing shares over his last 5 games, okay? Week 9, 69% of rushes. Or week 3, 69% of rushes. Week 4, 46% of rushes. Week 5, 66% of rushes. Week 6, 45% of rushes. And last week, 67% of rushes. It's almost like every other week he takes the bulk and then they go 50-50 with Algier being the main guy. So you really want to play Jack in those even-numbered weeks because Bijan's going to be getting less carries. Kenneth Walker, for me, had a 7% target share. After last week, we talked about him having a career high in target share. This was the lowest of the season. Not too worried about it, though, considering he did come in with questionable with an illness. But I really just think he was hungover because it was his birthday. Amari Cooper's debut resulted in his lowest target share of the year at 15.6%, but he only ran 12 total routes all game, so that's definitely due to change. And I don't know if you saw Keon Coleman literally help Amari Cooper, told him the route to run on his touchdown because he didn't know what. So, he didn't know much, but still scored. David Njoku, 30% target share both of the past 2 weeks with Amari gone and Deshaun the Pedo down and out. probably makes Njoku real promising tight end rest of the year. And while we're talking about Monty's tight ends, 4 weeks now with Laporta having a sub 10% target share, dare I call him just completely droppable. Josh Jacobs with a 15% target share, season high, and crazy fact, first career receiving touchdown. That was Josh's first career receiving touchdown.
I heard that on Sunday. They say that. That's crazy.
And then talking about 15% being a season high, Devon Achane saw a 13% target share, which was actually his season low. He's usually way more involved in the receiving game. And then last one, Brock Bowers. He has finished as a top 10 tight end in 5 of 7 games this year. So
say that one again.
Brock Bowers finished top 10 tight end in 5 of 7 games this year. Yeah.
Interesting. I'm surprised it's not higher than that. He seems to just be producing like crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah. He's consistent.
I got something to bring up before our break here. Teddy, I know you were at the Colts game on Sunday watching those Dolphins go at it. But what do we think about the Guardian caps? Teddy and I were texting it. Teddy, I don't know if you could see it from the stands up there, but A-Chain wearing that fucking Guardian cap looked like fucking Mega Mind. Like his head was massive. It was so fucking funny. I was watching the game. I was at a bar watching all the games and the TVs were on, and like literally like I wasn't even watching the Colts game at the time. I just at the corner of my eye, I saw this dude with a massive fucking head, and it was A-Chain. So I don't know what those are so funny.
He didn't have that the start of the year, did he? Or has he always had that?
This was his first game back. He got a concussion, then they had a bye week, and then he didn't miss a game. But he got a concussion like, what was it, must have been week 5, like in the first quarter, but then was back for this week, and so he was wearing it. It was cracking me up. Teddy and I were texting about our matchup, and I was like, can you see how big his head looks from the stands?
I saw them ask Tua if he was going to wear one, and he said no.
Yeah, he said.
Even though he's so fucked up.
He should probably wear 2 of them.
Yeah.
2 of them. I just thought that was funny.
No, I barely noticed. And JT's been wearing them the whole season, too. I'm not sure if you noticed that.
The whole season?
He has?
He wore it in the preseason.
I thought it was Kyle and Granson was the only one that wore it to start the season.
I'm pretty sure he has.
I might lose you. I get bad connection in the bathroom. I gotta go pee.
I was going to have a stat break, but RJ really took out all the stats. If you want more info on those, make sure to check the group me. Kyle's been having some really good stats. Talking about average draft value. And we also got a great segment coming up where someone has actually been doing their job and recording the guest predictions for each matchup. But while RJ flushes, we're going to go on a quick break and we'll be right back.
A gambling problem can make you feel all alone, but it doesn't have to. Get help today, please, for your family.
And welcome back. We've got a great rest of the show. We've got the Week 8 preview. But right before we start that, we've got a word from our ASIC Sportsbook sponsor.
As we begin the preview of Week 8 of the 2024 ZFFFL. Are you pooping, Trev?
No, just peeing.
Oh. Must remind you of our great sponsorship over at our ZFFFL ASIC Sportsbook. They won't be able to hear me. Can they hear me, Teddy?
Yeah, I think so.
I can hear you.
Over at our ZFFFL Sportsbook, A6 footwear. You've tried others, but none of them hit the spot quite like this. Meet the A6 Thunderstrike 7, the shoe that knows exactly how to treat you right. From the way it grips to how it feels when you slip it on, it's that good. The comfort, unreal. The support, every step. Every step is like a new thrill. You won't
The support,
huh?
the support, what?
It says the comfort, unreal. The support, Every step is like a new thrill. You won't just run in these shoes. You'll fantasize about them. You'll want to take it slow at first, but trust us, once you get going, there's no stopping. Seriously, once you try the Lightning Flex, you'll understand. You're going to want to fuck this shoe. A6, a sound mind is a sound body.
That's a marketing choice. Wow.
They're going in a different direction now. Wait, Trevor, were you just
I
did
had,
you have your pants around your ankles?
I had to get back to show off the shoe. I didn't have time to pull them up.
Well, taking a look at our recap this week, I just want to say thank you to our commissioner for finally doing something around this league. He went through each podcast, checked all the podcast guest picks, where he ranks number 2. Kyle is first at 3-1. Trevor, you're second and 5-3. Kevin and Monty are tied. They're both 500 for the picks, which is honestly kind of surprising. I thought everyone did worse, but it seems they're averaging pretty well. The sportsbook must make pretty good lines.
We're giving out some locks on the pod. Join in on the sportsbook. Put your bets in.
Are you keeping track of the Binks picks too?
They're 0 for 3.
Yeah, he's yeah,
The official bank picks.
his betting.
Yeah. Bink and Bink.
Let's get some Bink plays this week. Bink, come on.
Yeah.
Get some
Yeah,
action.
Bink.
Post them in the chat.
We're begging you.
Put them in the comments.
Well, why don't we start with the Bink in what I'm calling the Drano toilet matchup? We've got Jack versus Monty, both 2-5. Are they going to go down the drain or are they going to clear the pipes? Both teams need a big bounce back win. RJ was talking about it. Monty needs some big wide receiver production. He needs AJ Brown, Malik Neighbors. He needs Maserati if he chooses to play him. Jack, on the other hand, he just needs some nuclear threats. Jack has done pretty well sort of keeping afloat, but he needs someone like JT to go big. It looks like he's sticking with Sam Darnold. The rest of his team looks kind of iffy. I just think he needs someone to go nuclear and really cover up some weaknesses that might be there. RJ, what does the sportsbook think about this one?
Matchup could really come down to Malik Neighbors on Monday night. So I'd say no lead is really safe, but no deficit is really guaranteed to come back from. For Monty's sake, you really hope he goes for, his consistent 17-plus points per game pre-concussion, but who knows? Monty has real great matchups all around. All 3 running backs are facing bottom 7 run defenses. His defense is facing the worst offense. Kicker facing the 3rd worst kick defense. And then Njoku, I saw, is in the starting lineup as of now, who is facing a bottom 5 pass defense with Laporta on his bench. For the married man, you have JT back, Cooper Kupp back. Looking at these teams talent-wise right now, I guess I wouldn't expect them currently in the come game. I'd feel like they should be doing a little bit better, but here we are. Must win. Book has it Bink minus 3.5.
Ooh. Trev, what do you think about that?
I like that spread. Yeah, I'm calling this one the help. I've fallen and I can't get up. Life alert. Losing matchup of the week because both of these teams have fallen, and it seems like they can't get up. Obviously, right now, both in the standings in the come game, tough for them, especially I feel like 3 weeks ago, neither of these teams were looking like they'd be in that position, but halfway through the season, here we are. Jack potentially getting a couple of guys back from injury. I think that's huge for him. However, also lost a couple of guys to injury, and I think that's going to be the difference in this matchup. I like to do those can't loses, must wins. This is obviously a must win for both of these teams.
Okay.
So not the can't lose, must win matchup of the week. This is the must win matchup of the week. And the one who is going to get that must win will be the Bink. I like him to cover that 3-point spread. I still like Monty's team. I think he's just been on a little bit of a slide, but I think that he will cover that 3.5-point spread. Lock it in. Bink minus 3.5.
Wow. Well, moving on to our next matchup. Some might call this a can't lose. I wouldn't. But we've got what I'm calling the Boeing Fly High matchup, because I think whoever wins is going to be flying high. Chase versus Kevin. If Chase wins, he'll be 3-5. He'll have a little bit of comfort. If Kevin wins, he'll be 5-3, kind of scrapping at us three. Chase, looking at his team, he needs to keep up that running back production. Definitely needs those receivers to kind of remember who they are with Stephon and CD. Kevin, on the other hand, just keeps to have the people who go nuclear. Josh Allen is away at Seattle. If I'm Kevin, I'm a little afraid. He's been pretty bad on the road. But Saquon, Amon-Ra, I think they'll keep doing their thing. Not to tip my hat, but I think Kevin's looking pretty good in this one. RJ, how are you? Or how's the sportsbook feeling? Not to say you have any personal.
Yeah. Both Chase's running backs on Thursday night, so we're going to get a good feel on how this one's going to go in just about a day and a half. Stroud, sadly, has looked real good against Indy. But right now, Kevin's team, I think, and so does the sportsbook, that's where it's at. Tua back fills that flex spot with Waddle. Only thing to look out for is that running back spot if Pollard's okay, which I assume he is because I haven't seen much on it. But they like Kevin. They like Kevin a lot, minus 7.5.
Also a good spread. Man, sportsbook's giving out some good spreads this week. Yeah, I mean, it's a good matchup. I'm calling this one the Zen Keep Me Buzzing matchup because both teams are coming off a big win. Chase with the big win last week. Kevin getting that win that put him into a winning record, 4-3. This is also what I'm calling the can't lose, must win matchup. Not huge for either side, but I think that Chase is in a must win position. And with how Kevin's team is coming off some wins, I think he's in the can't lose position. But what's interesting this week is nobody has bye week trouble, so we're really going to get a good look at who your team is and what that shows. So I think that that being said, with no bye week troubles, I like Kevin's team more than I like Chase's team. I think I'm going to take Kevin minus 7.5. Lock it in, Kevin minus 7.5.
Wow.
Follow these picks. Remember, all the guest pickers are hot. Nobody has a losing record.
It's a lot of conviction. No one has a losing record. Wow. Well, moving on to this next matchup, I'm calling this the Titleist hitting from the women's tees matchup. We've got Kyle versus Trevor because I think both of these teams, they're kind of easy. They're feeling good. They're kind of cruising a little bit recently, but even from the women's tees, you got to hit it straight. Trevor, I think you need Lamar to keep balling out. I think your biggest weak point, you need some running back help with Dobbins and A-Chain. I think they're looking kind of iffy, need something there. Kyle needs Jaden Daniels to overcome what I think was something like a total torso amputation.
Yeah.
I didn't see exactly. But other than that, I think he needs James Cook, Gibbs, Jamar going nuclear once again. But you know how I love that nuclearity. But I think Kyle definitely needs someone to get up there in maybe like the 30s to really stand a chance overall. RJ, what's the sportsbook thinking?
Yeah, no Monday night players in this matchup with Kyle actually being done by the 4 o'clocks. Great matchup for Kyle with his pass catchers, all of them facing bottom 9 defenses against the pass. Trev does have a few question marks. I think JK hasn't looked great. Why did I put on Monday? Oh, on Monday. Yeah, he played on Monday night. I'm stupid. Will Jaden Reed's production go back up? Devon Achane, I think, with Tua back, that should be huge for him. So I think that'll be okay. But you got your captain, Brandon Aubrey, back. He's been you yourself and him as well. You have been consistent all year long. The sports book's starting to catch on to that, Trev. They see you at -5.5.
Well, I don't like picking myself, but I feel like I have to. So I will take that, I guess, 5.5. I'll just give me all the favorites this week, I guess. But yeah, this will be a good matchup. I think I'm calling this one the Johnson & Johnson Medco Rusty Rib Revenge Game matchup because Jaden Daniels is looking for some revenge. He thought he would have a bigger year than Lamar. I'm hearing he's pissed at the Marvelous Beaver Munchers for being traded. So he's looking for some revenge this week. We'll see if he plays or if that rusty rib will keep him out. That'll be a big factor in this matchup, I think, with Kyle having no other quarterbacks on his bench right now. From what I'm hearing, I think he's going to play, but we'll see. It's a big matchup he's got against the Bears. But yeah, neither team dealing with too many injuries besides Nico Collins for Kyle. Hopefully that gives me a little bit of advantage, but yeah, I just need that production back from Achane with Tua coming back. I feel good about that. So I feel good about this matchup, but trying to get that 6th win to clinch that playoff spot. So big one for me, and it's a big one for Kyle. He doesn't want to be sitting there 2 games out of 500. So big matchup here, but hoping I get the W.
Most definitely. You got to be worried, Trevor, probably. I'm sure you are. If Isaiah Likely gets put into that flex position, that like double revenge game, I could see like Jaden Daniels throwing to him, and they could just be upset at you for taking him out.
Yeah, we'll see.
Wait, Jaden Daniels throwing to Isaiah Likely?
Well, yeah, Jaden Daniels is Kyle's quarterback, and Isaiah.
Oh,
Likely
okay.
Tight end. It's like the.
That's fair.
It's all right. I got faith in Captain Brandon, Captain Aubrey. Even though I still have Chris Boswell, who actually is number 1 kicker.
Oh shit!
Maybe can we make a rule change where I can put a kicker in the flex? 1 and 2 kicker.
That'd be bold.
Let's have the poll maker throw up a poll, Bink.
I wouldn't put it past you.
Hey, don't forget to talk about those enlightening polls. Who's going to come out top dog?
Oh, we sort of skipped those. Maybe we'll circle back. We'll circle back. Because
I got them all right again. So I was just
wanted to
say that.
Well, moving on to our last matchup. This is what people are calling the StreamYard Talk Dirty to Me matchup, because both of these teams, whoever wins, they're feeling naughty because they'll be in the playoffs. They'll most likely be, well, if RJ wins, he'll be the undisputed number 1 no matter what. I'm pretty sure where.
Breaking news. Panthers quarterback Andy Dalton is not practicing today as he was involved in a car crash. So
saw that about him getting in the car crash.
Deontay Jones.
That's big for you. But looking at our matchup, just for me, I think Derrick Henry, I don't know if he can keep doing what he's doing. I sat down with Dakota over the last week and I said, hey, man, you've got to do a little bit better. You got to bounce back. I know Jerry's breathing down your back, but you have my full support. I put him right back in that lineup. Will I regret it? I don't know. I also got a little birdie calling me. Adam Schefter called me at 7:45 this morning. He said, pick up D-Hop. And you might notice D-Hop might make that leap because he's on the Chiefs now. So really, who knows? But, just looking at it, I need Tyreek straight down to the bench. Definitely not going to listen to Kevin about Chuba Hubbard.
Tyreek to the bench?
Tyreek to the bench.
With Tua back?
Tua can't even feel his fingertips. Tua is in a wheelchair.
Yeah, he's like Del Vecchio, that guy from Backyard. Timmy Del Vecchio.
That kid's a stud, though. That kid can slang it. Maybe the wheelchair will make him
He's
play.
like Tommy Del Vecchio out there. I'm not believing in Tyreek until he gives me a reason to. But RJ, looking at your team, I think you've got some great running backs. I think they're going to keep you afloat. I don't think there's going to be too much you're worried about. I mean, even with your wide receivers, I think Joe Mixon, Kenneth Walker, and Jordan Mason, I think they all will probably take the load there. And then anything that T. Higgins, Devonta Smith do, that's just icing on the cake. So I think for you, the big running back reliance, but they've proven they can carry you.
Yeah, Ted, losing Godwin really hurts. He was wide receiver 2 for the year. But, we've seen injuries this whole season so far, and we have a real next man up mentality.
Yeah, I was going to say you have definitely.
My team, yeah.
We as your team. I haven't. I've barely had anyone injured.
Yeah, no, we as in my team, my squad, not you. Kenneth Walker, though, facing the 31st defense against the run, expecting big things from him, hoping for a shootout in the Eagles game with the Bengals. Burrow throws a bunch of TDs, hopefully to T. Higgins. Still questioning what I'll do at tight end. Got a few.
You had David.
What?
You had David Njoku. Is he still on? No, never mind.
No, he broke his ankle week 1 when I started him after his first catch. So, no, I don't have him anymore. I have Cade Otton, though, who's one of the few healthy guys now with the Bucs. Picked him up, and Evan Ingram and Jake Ferguson. So I have a few options that I'm still pulling over. For you, Ted, tough matchups for your running backs as they both face top 5 defenses against the run. Josh Jacobs, though, gets a great matchup in your flex, playing the 27th best against the run. As of now, your Steelers defense is the only Monday night player in the matchup. Book can't really get a good feel on this one. 5-game win streak for me, 2-game win streak for you. Me losing Godwin. Expect it close. It's a pick 'em.
Wow. Trev, this is all you. What are you thinking? Who are you feeling?
I think that's a great line too. The sportsbook's all over it this week, but so I agree. I mean, I'm not seeing a big read on this one, so I don't know. I'm calling this one the clinch a playoff spot. Sephora sitting pretty playoff matchup. Frank's red hot flip a coin matchup. Because I do not have a read on this one, so I'm going to flip a coin on who I like.
Wow.
Let's see. Well, let's go.
Wait, who's
home team. Who's the home team? We'll call heads. I'm seeing Teddy on my left. We'll call heads, Teddy, RJ, tails. Flip a coin here. Tails. We're going with RJ.
Teddy's head. Teddy's
in the flip a coin Frank's red hot matchup. I think really this one could go either way. Earlier, when I was talking about RJ's recap, I thought he might get maybe Christian back, maybe Puka back. Doesn't look like either are going to play, so that hurts. Teddy, like you said, you're not really dealing with any injury trouble. So both sitting at 5-2, both ready to clinch that playoff spot. I think this one could go either way, and the coin tells me that RJ is going to win, so I'm going RJ money line. Lock them in. All the favorites. That one didn't have a favorite, so the coin said RJ.
Wow, that is big. That is really letting at the end of the season, the guest who gets the highest win percentage, they get a 50% discount for any ASICS shoe they want.
Mm-hmm.
I can use some new ASICs.
That's what I heard.
What were you saying, RJ?
I'm curious, Ted. How are you feeling after losing 2 straight? After starting hot, your breakdown's not too good. Are you feeling any pressure, or you're like, realistically, I can win one more somewhere?
I feel no pressure. Fuck you, Trevor.
No, honestly, like last year, I think us 3 were bottom dwellers.
Mm-hmm.
And now sitting at 5 wins, like there's so much pressure off.
Like,
Jack and Monty have got to be every week. They're probably like, oh my gosh, I got to get a win. I'm just thinking I could probably win 2 more games.
Mm-hmm.
Get lucky again. I'm not feeling too much.
It's the worst feeling going into a week being at the bottom of the totem pole, like especially at this point of the season when it starts to sort of separate itself. Because I remember, like, I would be so nervous at the start of the 1 p.m. games. Like, I would sit there and be like, oh my God, please. And then the first thing I'd see is my opponent get a touchdown. And like, I don't enjoy it anymore. But now I can enjoy watching football a little bit more.
Sitting back and relaxing.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it is. I keep thinking it's funny because I'm 5-2, but then looking at the breakdown, I'm 8th.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, I'm kind of rooting for.
Didn't you have this same thing last year? Like wasn't your breakdown really bad, or like the least points against?
I believe. Let me check. I can check the.
Got that good fantasy D.
No, what it?
Hold on.
You can't go. Trevor, we really need to talk about the NFL website and the ability to look back.
Type in /history.
I'm not trying to find the history. I'm trying to find the stats from last season.
You have to type in /history for that.
I don't even think you. Where do I type that in? I don't even think you know.
Your URL.
Yeah, Ted, you finished 7-7 last year, and Trevor was who had the lowest. Well, and Kyle was 4-10, and he scored 86 more points than you.
Thanks
Yeah, you know what it is.
Brandon McManus.
It is what it is. Like you only play the game in front of you. Fantasy football it's got its rules. It's got its ways to win, and I've found 5 ways to win, and other people have only found 2. And I don't think there's anything to be said about like deserving and not deserving. It's who win and who doesn't.
All right.
Where are you at in the points? The points for. Where are you at in the points for?
Well, let's just run it down. This year, Trev, you're at number 1, points for 842. Then it goes Kevin, Monty, Jack. It's funny that Monty and Jack are 3 and 4. They're sitting at the bottom. Then it goes Kyle. I'm only 6th. Thank you very much in the points for. RJ's 7th, and Chase is at the bottom of points for.
Yeah, I'm 7th. And it's weird. It doesn't really make sense. I had to like just not score at all in weeks 1 and 2. I had to guess.
And then just taking a look at just another fun fact, the points against, the bottom 3, like the people who've had the least points against are the 3 right here, the 3 who are 5-2. I've got the last points against, then it's RJ, then it's Trevor.
So that's what's most important.
Yeah.
It's all
Kevin
about
should
your
be
fantasy
feeling.
D.
It's not about
Mhm.
scoring. It's how much you can keep your opponent from scoring.
Yeah, it's about playing the mind games. Like Kevin, he told me to play Chuba Hubbard. I think Trevor told him to put it in my mind, and then I thought maybe there's something to it.
You thought Kevin was an ally, but he wasn't.
Kevin is famously not an ally, and I've heard him say some very disparaging things towards people who otherwise would be called allied with,
Yeah.
if that tells you anything. Kevin Paul O'Brien, who works at Deloitte. Just want to throw that out there. And then just for our last segment, the Binky Poll segment, he was going through who's going to be the top dog in each matchup. He did these a little late. He did these after the second Monday night game started, so a lot of things were already kind of decided at that point. But the first one, he said who would win between Trevor and me. Trevor got 6 votes, which is not very surprising. Trev, obviously you won. And then RJ versus Kyle. RJ got 6 votes, which honestly, that one was a lot less. Like if Zay Flowers got just one big catch or something.
Yeah.
One big catch touchdown. I'm surprised that was 6-0. Then it was.
I'll be honest. I did vote Kyle because after how the first drive went, I was like, oh, Kyle, I think Kyle's gonna he'll get a touchdown or something. But I just changed
the reverse jinx.
I changed it when it was done. So I could say I still got it right. Monty needs to keep his you can end them early. He has them open for 24 hours. So I can after that.
Everybody gets them
now. Then the next one, who would win between Chase and Jack? 5 people voted Chase. 1 person said Jack would win. I might say that's Jack, but I don't think he has the app version of GroupMe, so he can only he gets the texts as they come in. I'm not sure about that. And then Monty actually didn't put himself in it. Kevin did it after I think pretty much the games were decided who would win, Monty or Kevin. And there were 4 votes for Monty, 1 vote for Kevin. I think people just don't like Kevin.
Yeah, that game was a blowout. Everyone knew that Kevin was going to win that one. I think Kevin just wanted to put that in there to rub it in.
So to the Binky, I'll say, Bink, I love the polls. I want to hear some Binky plays. I love keeping up with them. Putting down 6-7 units per, always a good time. And I think with that, unless you two, RJ, did you have any more target share facts?
No, I mean I do, but I'm just gonna save them for next year probably because I have so many.
Trevor, do you have anything to share? Anything else you want to plug?
Who do you guys think? I have a question. Who do you guys think? Maybe we can write it down and I'll show it at the same time. But who do you guys think should be the most panicked going into week 8? The team that should be the most panicked.
I think we're all going to have the same answer.
You guys hold it up and I'll say it because I don't have a piece of paper in front of me.
All right, ready, Teddy?
Yep, count it down.
3, 2, 1, Jack.
Yep, Jack. He's got to be in trouble. His marriage is in trouble. His season is in trouble. Things are going south.
He definitely needs to change something up. Maybe shave his head.
Maybe get a trade. Maybe trade for like Jaden Daniels or somebody.
I tried making a trade with him, and he said, let me sleep on it. This is on his honeymoon. And then I wake up to a text from him in all caps. It goes, "No deal, Howie."
I love it.
Well, that's great stuff. Well, I want to say thank you for sticking with us. I know this was a short pod. Always tough for them to be that short. But I hope this was enough. But as always, thanks for listening to the Zionsville Football League Fantasy Football Podcast. I want to say make sure to get those bets in before the Thursday night game. Be sure to follow us on all socials at ZFFFL FF Pod on all major platforms. Just want to say there was a guest on here. Yeah, the Twitter just non-existent. Sure do love that. Thanks for contributing, Kevin. But also to everyone else besides Kevin Paul O'Brien, I'd like to say thanks for watching, listening, and as always, fuck you, Trevor.